One of the things that is a myth in diet culture is the idea of calories in versus calories out. We think about, if we have a weight loss goal, and let's just focus on weight loss for now so that I can illustrate a few examples. But there's other fitness goals, right? Sometimes it's building lean muscle, sometimes it's burning body fat, sometimes it's weight loss. And the way that you eat and exercise is actually different for all three of those things, depending on your goal. So you can't do the same thing for each goal and expect to get that result. And we'll talk much more about that later. But I want to start with this whole idea of calories. And it's not calories that are important when we're talking about food and fitness. It's actually macros. Macronutrients. What are macros? So you may have heard about macros. If you're on Instagram, you can search the hashtag if it fits your macros, or macro counting, or macro calculating, or macro meals, whatever. There's so much out there. And I was turned on to macros. Even though I understood them, they're not something that I really dug into except for in the last several years. And they really are a really basic and simple way of understanding the food that you're eating and the food that you need to be eating in order to achieve your fitness goals. So macros is a shortened term for macronutrients, and it really is the fat, carbohydrates, and protein that makes up all food composition and helps our bodies create energy. So convert calories that we eat into energy to fuel our lifestyle. If you take any food that you find at the grocery store and you look at the nutrition label on the back, it's going to have the macros on it, which is the carbs, the fats, and the protein, right? So carbohydrates, 4 calories per gram. Protein, also 4 calories per gram. Fats, about double that, 9 calories per gram. And then alcohol, also 7 calories per gram. However, carbs, proteins, and fats also have micronutrients, which we're not going to go into, but those are all of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs to function optimally. We're not going to go into those. Alcohol, the difference from a macro standpoint, alcohol does have calories, but it does not have micronutrients. It literally has no nutritional value. But when we are calculating macros or counting macros, if you are enjoying alcohol, you would need to include that. So just more as an FYI. So gram for gram, macronutrients are responsible for all of the calories in the food that you eat. And when you follow a macro-based food plan, you go beyond counting calories because, right, I mentioned calories in versus calories out. If I just had a daily calorie goal that was paired with a weight loss journey, so just say, for example, for me, if I was to be in a deficit, maybe that would be 1,400 calories per day. But if I eat cookies and potato chips to make up that 1,400 calories, I am not going to achieve my goals because the makeup of that food is refined carbohydrates, processed flours, sugars, things that my body is going to, feel poorly and not give me my desired result. I'm not going to be energized. I'm not going to be able to build lean muscle. I mean, if I'm in a calorie restriction, maybe I will lose some weight initially, primarily water weight. But after that, not all calories are created equally, which is why I want to avoid this calories in versus calories out. I'd rather you adopt that mindset of you are what you eat. So if you're eating junk, you're going to feel like junk, right? If you're eating vibrant, healthy, wide range of foods, then you can expect to have more energy and life force, right? So it is that simple. And the thing about macros is you can adjust the ratios according to your goals. So if you you can use the tool to understand the composition of what you're eating, and you might notice, oh, I'm eating very high carb and I'm not getting enough protein every day. Or I have a super low fat diet and maybe that's why I feel hungry all the time and not satisfied after meals, because I'm missing a macronutrient. So it's really key to understanding sort of what you're eating, what it's comprised of, and how you're feeling because of it. And then you can tweak it according to your goals. So that's the really cool thing about macros. What else did I want to tell you about macros? So getting started with macros is a lot of work up front initially, and I don't want you to shy away from it because it is absolutely worth it. So you do need to put in the time and document in like a kind of like a food journal or diary everything that you're eating, what time and when, and how you're feeling afterward. And developing this awareness around food is going to help you as you get going with this sort of intuitive eating, food freedom lifestyle that we will tweak and adjust according to your goals. But it's really important. I mean, I have been a mindless eater, I have been a stress eater, I have been a PMS eater, I have done all of those things. I have been an overeater and undereater, and really connecting with how I feel physically around food has helped me make better choices. So if I'm out to lunch and I know I've got a busy day in the afternoon, I'm gonna choose foods at lunch that enhance my energy levels, that make me feel good. I'm probably not gonna eat a giant bowl of pasta with cream sauce because chances are I'm gonna feel like I need to take a nap after that. And if I've got meetings, I wanna feel energized, enthusiastic, clear-brained. So maybe I'm having some lean protein, some healthy fat, and some complex carbohydrate, a nice balance of those things. So counting macros, as I've just explained, is not the same as counting calories, right? It's not a calories in, calories out approach. It really is understanding the composition of your daily calories so that you can alter them to make the most impact on your health. Okay, so when you focus on quality and ratio of your macros, that's when you can increase your fat burning and or muscle building potential. And that's what we are going to be working on. Okay, so calculations, understanding your resting metabolic rate is something that you need to do in order to start this journey. I would suggest going onto Google and finding a macro calculator. And this is a tool you're going to use, and they're online and they're free, to calculate your daily macro requirement. So it actually will spit out a total calorie number based on your current height, your current weight, your gender, your goal, if you have a weight loss goal, and your activity level. Now, what I want you to do, and we'll talk more about this later when we get into the specifics of tracking macros, but I want you to err on the side of sedentary so that you are, you're not going to include if you do work out a couple times a week, you're not going to bake that into your calculation. If you have a super duper active job and you're like walking and moving around all the time or lifting things, then yes, you should incorporate that, but don't include your workouts. Just think about your general day-to-day lifestyle, exclusive of any exercising you might be doing when you calculate your macros on that, on whatever website you choose. Okay, so I can just do an example for me right here. I'm gonna go into Google and I'm gonna type in macro calculator, and okay, I'm just gonna boom, 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 boom. Oh, you know what? It wants me to put in my email information. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that right now. We will come back to this another time. All right, actually, I want you to go to, I found a macro calculator online. It's really simple and straightforward. It's at a website called healthyeater.com. But if you go into the Google bar and just type in like macro calculator tool, and then make sure you choose the one for Healthy Eater, just because it's really simple, straightforward, easy to use. So I go ahead and I enter my age, my gender, I put in my current weight, my height. We are using the normal formula, which you'll see. Activity level, I'm putting sedentary, just because, you know, for that example of Xing out any workouts that I'm doing, just keeping it sedentary. And then goal, you can either choose lose weight, lose 10%, maintain, or gain weight. And for this purpose, I'm gonna choose maintain. And then I'm gonna click calculate macros, and now it tells me I'm 1,778 calories per day, but then it gives me the macronutrient breakdown of carbohydrates, protein, and fat in the ratios. So it's a really cool tool. You can adjust it if you're somebody who has a lean muscle goal and you're gonna be eating more protein. You can actually adjust it for high protein, maximum protein, or you can adjust it for how many meals you're eating per day. So this is actually a really great tool. Would highly suggest that you use this one. Your macros, right? The calculator is actually calculating your macros based on your total daily energy expenditure. And that is an individual number. So just like I shared my numbers, those will not be your numbers. They are specific to me, my body, my height, my weight, my gender, and my lifestyle, and my goal. And so that's why you will want to go ahead and calculate the right amount for you. How to figure out protein. So protein is one of those macronutrients that oftentimes, particularly women, are under eating. Now, you may not need as much protein as you think, but if you have a lean muscle goal, and particularly as we're aging, you want to eat higher protein. So people who are active, who are doing strength training and have like average body fat, probably a higher protein. Max protein is if you're doing intense training, like if you're somebody who's like into fitness competitions and, you know, like really serious professional athlete or whatever, which is probably not the case here. So I would err on the side of moderate to high protein for a weight loss goal, and just pump that into your calculator, and then it will adjust your macros accordingly. So definitely use that tool. And then next we're gonna talk about how to actually track your macros and kind of the best tools for doing that.